GTT are delivering 32 townhouses for Homes New South Wales. We're super excited about it. GTT is a business. We offer a kit of parts solution for housing. So that is a flat pack system, a bit like an IKEA bookcase, but we do that for the full house structure. The GTT kit of parts approach, the flat pack system, offers you the kind of ability as a builder or as a developer to have us doing most of the work before it leaves the factory. So we can do 60 to 70% of the building scope in the factory in the dry, whilst your site might be getting drenched in rain, which conventional construction you would be having downtime, you'd be having claims from the builder on inclement weather. Whereas what we're doing here is we're carrying on, and then when it comes to site, nicely click it together over a couple of days, put the roof on it, and you're weather tight, and then you can do your fit out. So we're managing that risk for you, supporting speed and ultimate program certainty, and that's really the crux of it.
So the design is all done in-house by our team in Orange. The design will release those files to our factory floor, who will then run that through our automated CNC machinery production line, coming off that production line roughly every 10 minutes.
So with Homes New South Wales, there's been one singular file which we've been able to replicate across 16 sites.
When the file is finished up in the office, the first thing we do is bring it down to the hut. Now when it gets to the hut, that's where we'll get together, we'll quickly look over it and make sure there's no major faults or anything that we can quickly pick up and solve really quickly. After that, it goes straight to the framing machine. The framing machine is pretty much the beginning. It's where your first primary backbone of your frame is built, and then it follows through to both the bridges and then onto the wall line. And in that process, the same file is used at each station and the different layers are added. So gyprock, OSB board for bracing and things like that. Having the one file means that each machine just opens up the same thing. We have a less chance of there being any problems with duplicates. It's just the one file in the one folder. You open it and you run it at each station. And it actually guarantees a good result because we have that continuity throughout.
So what we do is we actually leverage a kit of parts that we've developed over the last few years, which is effectively a standard suite of different wall types or floor types or ceiling types. And we configure those panels in different ways. And that's how we achieve different floor plans for different clients. But obviously the key benefit there is in standardisation of what we've done and repeated use of that.
Every cycle of a panel, which is called the tack time, at the moment we do a tack every 25 minutes. So that is a movement of a panel every 25 minutes down the factory line. So that from cradle to grave for a panel at the moment might be in the region of an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on the complexity of that wall, whether it's got glazing, cladding, etc. in there. We can pull levers to kind of increase that tack time, which we are planning to do over the next couple of years as we invest in more robotics, more automation. But right now, a 25-minute tack time will deliver enough panels for a single family home in 4 hours.
When it comes to the speed and precision of what we do here, the machine uses conveyor belts. It brings the job in, brings it into a 90-degree angle, and then clamps it up, and all of that is done at the press of a button. So we don't have to worry about holding it square, standing it up. It's done horizontally, securely, and then the machine does its work, and it's already guaranteed to be square and precise, which means when you stand it up, it's plumb and ready to go. So we are guaranteeing that consistency in how quickly we can get a wall out. A big pro that we have in our system is the ability to have a wall that is insulated. Normally that's done on site, but we can insulate it here, it's ready to go. We have the gyprock, we have the bracing, we can do the electrical. The windows go in with their flashings on, ready for rain.
From there we stack everything in our factory ready for transport. So we'll load all of our wall panels, all of our floors, all of our ceilings onto a couple of different trucks and ship that off to site wherever that may be in New South Wales. So ahead of each of these builds, we prepare a detailed pack, and that has all of the plans and all of the standard details and connections that they need to know to build this particular project. We run the install crew through that ahead of time. That way, by the time anyone's even set foot on site, they know what their role is, they know what all the details are, and they're repeatable. So everyone's already familiar with it and knows what they're doing.
My name's Sean Coddington. I'm a builder. I trade as Sustainable Design and Construct. I've been installing the Homes NSW project. We're at a point where we're installing the house structure without the roof in 4 days, and then it's 3 days to put the truss roof and party wall on. And it's an all up from my side of it, from the installation, from sole plates to trusses complete. We're 11 days on site, including setting up the crane. In 1991, when I started my apprenticeship, I was building hardwood post and beam houses, which are pre-cut out of green hardwood and stood up in a post and beam style, and then with infill walls. So it was all prefabricated then. And that really got me going. In 2006, I started playing around with the closed panel walls. I teamed up with an architect and we bought a site in Scone. We built the panels on site and we built a closed panel wall, which we finished in 2010. I believe it's probably one of the first in Australia that was a closed panel wall. I don't know of any others. And from there, I just kept introducing prefabrication into architectural structures. I played around with SEMA, CADWorks and HSBC CAD, drawing elemental timber structures, and then having it all come to site pre-cut and then assembling it. And then that sort of developed into semi-closed walls and closed panels now. It's been a lot of learning in there over the time, but yeah, I think it's the future. I think it's the way we're going to build, and I think it's how we're going to solve some of the housing problems that we've got in Australia.
So one of the pieces of market feedback we get often is, this is a new system, so is that risky? My answer to that is it's extremely common practice in Europe and the US. In Australia, we are one of the early adopters, yes, but it's a proven technology that exists to provide high quality housing at speed, at scale, and at a good price point.
I started out my carpentry experience as your standard carpenter. I was working on sites with builders, and one of the main things you soon realise is that you're exposed to the elements. Not only is it beautiful on a sunny day, but you also have the UV. And on a cold day, you have frosts, you have rain, you have sleet, you have snow. So you have an obvious element there that when we're undercover here, you're fine. You don't have to worry about that problem.
Certainty around program is always really important for our builders, and with the benefit of not having weather exposure delay our programs when we're manufacturing in a covered, sheltered, off-site facility, it really provides builders that confidence that they're going to get what they're after when they're after it.
We need to use more prefabrication in a controlled environment, and that's machines that are automated, that work in a big shed, that are not affected by wind and rain. They can run shifts 24 hours a day if they need to.
But we can control the squareness, we can control the QA. So we take photos at every interval, wherever we can, and that means that's something that's really, really precise. It's very accurate. Standard construction is very different, but this is done at a step-by-step basis. Every single component is checked, and that's just something you can't do on a normal site.
On site, the real shortage is labour, and when you're using a lot less labour to install a house, it means that team, instead of providing shelter for 4 families in a year, can provide shelter for 30 or 40 families in a year, which is a massive increase in our capability to provide that shelter.
On the machines behind us, each one of those has 2 staple guns on a turret. These guys can fire 4 staples a second. I like to think of myself as a good tradesman. There's no way I can hammer in 4 nails in a second. Also, it's doing it with pinpoint accuracy. They can click over and they have a spindle on there as well, and that will then use a saw or a router. It'll go around and cut things out. We do that with the Gyprock, the OSB panel, and it does it nearly dust-free, which is a big bonus, and it does it at a speed that you couldn't do on site. It's really, really revolutionary in what it does.
It's very easy. A lot of managing trucks now and logistics, but it goes a lot quicker. And what we used to do in a month, now we do in 4 days.
On the receiving end, you get something like what's going on behind me. So we have a crane and an install crew ready at each site to receive the panels from our factory, and once those are safely offloaded onto site, we can then begin our install.
We break the team into specific jobs. One person manages the stillage, which is the crate that the panels arrive on, and then you end up with 2 people on the installation crew and 1 person holding the rope, which is the tag line on the panel.
We operate on a 15-minute cycle time for the crane being one of the main drivers for our install speeds. Really important to get those efficiencies there.
There is a lifting sequencing plan that tells you where to put the bracing wall to keep it all nice and safe. And then once you've got all the walls in on the ground floor, then you put all the lids on, which are the mid floors, and then you start installing the top level. And then we put the ceiling cassettes on, which are the lids for the ceilings, and then we load up the trusses, and then we pull a tarp over it for the night. And then we generally go and install another house, and then a smaller team falls back and then installs the trusses.
Obviously, one of the nuances of prefab building is the reliance on different trades. We're heavily reliant on crane crews, and getting a really good crane crew, a good operator and a good dogman make all the difference on our sites. It's important to note that it's not rushed construction, it's just compressed because all the thinking has been done ahead of time off-site.
On site, where you would be lifting frames, where you'd be building them manually on the ground maybe, or even when you're getting your frame and trusses from a supplier, you then have to sort them, you have to stand them up, and that is generally done just by the men on the ground. There is a risk in that. We're reducing the labour on the human body, which is a real bonus.
So on a large volume rollout of this type of product, you're going to get the time benefit of delivering that stock quicker. So heads on bed sooner. So if you're a build to rent developer, you're obviously going to get your rental returns started sooner. If you're a build to sell, you can turn off your development finance, so you're not paying your large interest payments on that. You've already sold the product, it's out there, it's done. So if you save yourself 12, 18 months on that, on a 30 townhouse development as an example, that saving is significant.
Building with prefabricated structures allows you to do more within your year. So financially, yes, right now it works well because you just get through it quicker.
You can do it with the same size of team, and you actually can do it at a higher margin because you're taking on less risk, because the risk is controlled and known. The Homes New South Wales project, the 32 townhouses, has enabled GTT to really step forward into the building market. So we're now offering end-to-end solutions, with that being planning, front-end design coordination, getting your sites ready, all the way through to the delivery, turnkey, handing over the keys. The only thing that's worth kind of highlighting there is we really still want to work with existing builders. We really want to work with you guys on using our kit of parts on your projects. The end-to-end nature, we can plug in at any point. But if we can work with you on helping you with the design, helping with your planning, supplying you the kit of parts, and then you take over from there, we would love to do that. That's really where we would love to play.